session is about the 18 golden principles or the guiding principles of this PSSM. So I want to, before I get onto the topic, I want to explain the beauty of this PSSM is uh, everybody is a master here. Everybody is a student here. So you don't consider only one person as a master and the rest of the people as the disciples or the students here. So just consider the fact that you are a master from the day one itself. If you are learning meditation today, start teaching the meditation from tomorrow. And there is nothing like you don't bring any of the other organization ideals or any of the teachings of the other master from the other organizations. There's nothing like that. If there is anything best possible thing that you found in this anywhere in the planet, then bring it up here if it is really good, and we'll adopt that. So that's the beauty of this PSSM. And there is one saying when I heard it from the Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji. We should be very thankful to him each and every day whenever we are in the spiritual path, right? So once he's asked, he was asked that should we follow the Western culture or the Eastern culture? I feel like one of the friend asked that which one is really good, and is that the Eastern culture is completely get killed by the Western culture, or the Western culture is too adaptive and people are getting corrupted here in the Eastern side. Then the answer is like there is nothing corrupted, nothing get corrupted, right? He once said that there is best in the West culture, there is best in the East culture. Most of the people are following the worst of the East culture and the worst of the West culture. But the PSSM is the one which follows the best of the East culture and the best of the West culture, right? That's what we are doing. And that's where these 18 guiding principles came into the picture. Okay. So the first and foremost principles, like I want to divide these three principles into three categories. I mean, 18 principles into the three categories. One is first six principles are what we have to do in our daily life just to get onto the path. And the next six principles are what we should not do in order to make ourselves in a better way, grow in a better way spiritually, mentally, physically, and in any way that could be possible. And the last six principles are now we went in a perfect path, and the last six principles are we have to evolve into the next level. That's where the last six principles come into the picture. So let us all start with what we have to do in our regular life. The first and foremost thing, we all are here through the common practice of meditation, right? So what's the right way of meditation? The right way of meditation is the Anapanasati meditation. So Buddha has tried several meditation practices in his life for 6 years, and then he considered the Anapanasati meditation, that is just observe your normal natural breath. You don't need to do any exercises of the breath. You don't need to do any of difficult asanas while you are doing meditation. You just need to be in a comfortable position and sit back and relax and observe your normal natural breath. And once he understands the essence of this meditation, he started spreading this meditation for the rest of his life. That is again 2500 years back. So we are just doing the same meditation here, which is after 2500 years back, and trying to understand the essence of this meditation. So that much importance he has given to this Anapanasati meditation, and we are following the same. Yeah, there's nothing new that we invented here. There is nothing new that we are teaching here. We are all practicing the same meditation which was taught by Gautam Buddha 2500 years back. So now let's get into the next principle is read 6 spiritual books. Yeah, we understand the fact that there are many books available in the market. So what books that we need to read? Yeah, this is where we need to understand that we need to read the spiritual books that are recommended by many masters in our PSSM. Be it Osho books, he's from a different organization. No, let's not consider the fact that he's from a different organization. We don't need to read the books from the other organizations. No, nothing like that. We can read any spiritual books that are good and that are providing anything best, right? So as I said in the before my starting of presentation, I said that we need to follow the best of the West and the best of the East. That's what we are doing. We are just filtering out what we considered it as best from all the organizations, from all the authors. That's what we consider it as a best way of reading the spiritual books. And in each and every book you can learn from that. That can be anything. It can be used in many ways. Just read it out and understand the essence of the book, and try to learn something from that and practice it from the day you read that book. We consider these are the few a couple of examples of the authors like Osho, Lobsang Rampa, Carlos Castaneda, Jane Roberts, Annie Besant, Linda Goodman, and there are many other books like Yogananda Paramahamsa, Torkam Saradarian, and Sylvia Brown, Aranta. All these books are very, very good books. Even if you consider one book from any of these authors, your life will change. I guarantee that if you understand any of the book, and if you start practicing them in your daily life, definitely it's going to be helpful, and it will help you evolve to the next level of your life. And next, this is again a very important principle. We have to share our experiences. That can be a meditational experiences or the spiritual experiences with each and everyone who is interested. Like right. So if I have some meditation experiences, if I'm explaining these kind of experiences to someone who is not interested, that really doesn't help at all. Neither to him nor to us, right? So you have to explain these and share your experiences to those who are interested in, like your fellow meditator, like whoever does the meditation along with you. Just try to share your experiences and try to listen to the experiences of your fellow meditators. It will help us certainly give some confidence in you as well as to the other people that there is something going on in this meditation. It's all a practical experience and practical experiments that we do during the meditation process. So we learn from each other and try to evolve from there. Like, so if you stop sharing your experiences, right, that will again create a blockages within you. We always be doubtful that whether this is right or wrong, whether these experiences that anybody will get these kind of experiences. Did you see anyone who had these kind of experiences? I doubt myself when I stop sharing my experiences, right? So that's the reason we always need to consider sharing your experiences to your fellow meditators, or ask your friend to do meditation with you, and ask him the questions like what happened to you, what did you understand. Just try to share, be friendly with your fellow meditators, so they'll be open up and uh, talk to you about their meditational experiences. And next, spend much time every day in silence, right? So this is very very important to youngsters particularly, because they always keep talking and try to be gossiping on various stuff, right? And that really ruins our energy, my dear friends. Yes, that's really true. You always be in silence whenever you get a chance. Try to be in silence and observe yourself. What are the thoughts going on within yourself? Are they good? Are they bad? Just try to see yourself when you are in silence, what's happening within you. And try to stop talking shit, right? So don't ever try to gossip or talk any individual persons, right? So stop talking about any individual persons or any such events which does not do any good to either of you, like you are the one who is listening to, right? So this is very important that you be on silence more, and then uh, do less of talking. That's really important. Stop being so talkative, um, unless it is very important, right? So if you feel very important that you need the team need your input, unless that point of time, be silent and just observe what's going on. And next, the foremost important thing is do full moon meditations whenever there is full moon. Yeah, so in every full moon, right, you will have two energies, one with the sun and one with the moon, the complete energies that are coming to the air. So just on that day, on that full moon day, you'll see lot of energies, like 3 times more powerful energies on that day. So on the night. So try to do meditation on those days, so that you'll observe uh, the more energies, 3 times more energies on the regular than the regular day. So that's very important to track down the full moon and do meditations, particularly spend some time in the nature. Try to do meditation as much as possible on those days. It will help you gain a lot of cosmic energy and certainly heal yourself in many ways. And now let's get into the sixth most important point that we need to do in our regular life is do meditation under a pyramid. That's a concept, right? So the pyramid energy is always powerful. It carries a lot of energy. The word pyramid itself is generated from the abundant energy, or the fire energy within. Uh, in the middle of in the middle of fire, whatever the energy that you will have the same energy inside the pyramid. So when you are doing meditation under the pyramid, you will receive 3 times more powerful energy than the meditation that you are doing outside of the pyramid. So just try to understand this. And there is the points or the focal points in the pyramid too. One is like just in the middle of the pyramid, what do you call? Uh, you'll have the golden chamber, the king's chamber, and then the queen's chamber. So in the king's chamber, there's a lot of energy. The highest focal energies stays in the king's chamber, and in the queen's chamber is the next level of the energy that stays inside the pyramid. So just consider doing meditation inside the pyramid. That will help you gain more energy than the meditation that you're doing outside of the pyramid or anywhere. Like in the same way, you can consider meditation under trees in the nature, or more connected to the rivers. If you are doing more, if you are doing meditation inside the pyramid, it's 3 times more. If you are doing meditation when it is on the full moon day, that's 3 times more powerful. So these all are very powerful days, or powerful places that you can consider doing meditation. It's not just pyramid. There are many other things that you can use to do meditation. It can be crystals. They carry more energy. So these all are very good things that you can use for your meditation. And now let's see what are the things that we should not do, or the things that we should give up in our daily life to consider ourselves uh, uh, gain good what you call for our spiritual growth, right? So this is like give up psychological dependence on the medicines. So this is very important, my dear friends. I mean, this hypothetically correct and hypothetically incorrect in some cases. So when you keep doing a lot of meditation, right, you will have enough energy to heal yourself. You don't need any meditation, any medication for your health issues, right? But when in the same way, uh, when you are at that level, uh, when you are make yourself as an energy being, then consider that you'll never ever get into any health issues. That's one thing. But when you are in the deep crisis, and you certainly need some medication, certainly take them, because uh, first of all, you need to understand the fact that uh, when you're doing the high amount of energy stuff, high amount of meditation, you'll never get any disease. But yeah, so this is again up to you, like how, where exactly you are at. So you need to observe yourself. Sure. And so the next thing is no meat, no fish, no eggs. So let us all consider the fact that our body is made to have a vegetarian food. So that's not just that, but when you are doing a non-vegetarian food, then you need to understand the fact that there is one life is in problem, is in danger because of us. So it's always haunts us that we are actually interfering in some other's life, just for the sake of our taste or taste buds, right? So let us all consider the fact that we are vegetarians by default. That's our true nature. Being a master is not just doing the meditation or understanding the essential principles of the spirituality, but at the same time, you need to understand the fact that we are all we are all one, and we are all sharing the planet. It's not just for the humans. And next, the next principle is spend much time in the pure nature. So it's like again where this no came from. I mean, I said like there's list of no's that we need to do for the next six principles, from the seventh principle to the 12th principle. There's some list of no's. This no is nothing but just don't stick to your regular life or the corporate life, or maybe the life that you are addicted to, with the phones, with all the gadgets, electronics, uh, and the corporate world, onto the TV, right? So let us all spend some time in the pure nature. Maybe go to some trekking, do some hiking, do some just get onto the river banks or to the mountains and just walk and understand and enjoy the nature. There's much more than what you just see it as your life, right? So this is very important. Just connect yourself to the nature. That's our true nature of life. So now let's see what is the next no. The next no is you don't need to wear any special clothes, any special spiritual clothes, be it white, orange, green. What else? You have different clothings, sort of uniform to all the uh, s- spiritual masters, right? So you don't need to wear any of this special clothing. So you don't need to wear any of the spiritual clothing here. All that you need to do is a simple clothing. There is no rituals, or there is nothing like you need to do a lot of what you call caps, or rudrakshas, any orange cloths, or any of such matter, right? So not just them, but no rituals. What are these rituals? Ritual is anything that you are following blindly without knowing the understanding or the true meaning of our ancient wisdom, right? So in the ancient wisdom, everything is done because there is some certain purpose to it. So now in the current generation, most of the people, they don't know about what exactly the real meaning of this particular ritual. without knowing the fact, we are blindly following some of rituals. So just try to understand the true meaning of the ritual before you perform anything. And the true meaning of spirituality is everything is one. There is no you and me. There is no nothing like God and disciple. There is no master. There is no student. Everyone is a master. Everyone is a student. Depends on the situation. If you are if you are the subject SME of particular subject, then you are the master. If you are not an SME, if you are not expert in any of the thing, then you are a student in that particular subject, and you are learning from someone. Sometimes I consider the fact that we all learn from Google in our corporate life. So I consider the fact that Google is our teacher. There is no real teacher who is having hands, who's having legs. There's no physical being there. You can learn and keep learning from anyone, from anything. Even the nature is a true leader. Uh, just uh, for for the namesake, yeah. So now let's get on to the next no. So next no is we are all in an assumption that that uh, these meditation practices is only for the elder people, and only after retirement we have to do meditation. And the people feel like if you are into spirituality, if you are doing meditation, if you are into these kind of things, then most of the people will consider that this is only after retirement, this is not for now. No, that's completely no, right? So we can actually impart meditation to the children who is in just 2 years or 3 years, right? So there is no age limit. There is no nothing like a limit or a boundary to the practice of meditation. So meditation is to anyone, to any place, in any sector, right? So this is another no, right? Yeah. So let's get into the next one. What is the next no? The next no is learn to live as masters and never as disciples. Right. So this is very important, my dear friends. We always consider ourselves as a best disciple or the best student, right? Or something something that is lesser than someone. So no, not at all. So you're always a master. You are always when you are learning something, you have to learn in such a way that you should explain the same topic to someone who don't know about that, right? Learn to teach. You're learning a subject to teach the subject. So that's how you have to learn. And you have to listen like as you are going to explain that topic to someone else. And when you are listening, right, when you are listening, you understand that. And now when you are teaching to someone, you have to teach in such a way that uh, a student in you can understand that topic, right? Learn as a student, teach as a no teach as a student, learn as a master. Yeah, this is something tricky, but if you keep understanding this thing, you'll see the fruits of it, essence of it. So that's the next no. So now we are done with what are the truths, what are the yes, and what are the no. Sorry, no. And now let's get into the one to evolve ourselves into the next level of the spirituality. So uh, now you understand what is being a master, what is being a student, and what are the things that we need to do, what are the things that we should not do. Now let us spread these things to the people who don't understand this essence, right? So this is the next thing. So learn. Don't take any money. Don't take any money. The meditation is free all the time. So all the masters here in the PSSM, they teach meditation out of passion. They don't do any business out of it. They just consider this meditation practice and helping others to do the practice of meditation is just for the passion, right? Um, all the masters here, like I consider you who is joining this meditation group or anyone who's watching on YouTube, they are not paying any money. If you are paying money, then we don't need your money, but we need your time, and we need your time for meditation and explain this meditation to your fellow friends. That's all we are expecting as a part of PSSM. Now let's consider this the fact that we consider ourselves as gods, right? Let's practically talk about this. If we are considering ourselves as God, then why are we worshiping the idols? We should see we should see God in everywhere and in every essence, and we need to understand what they actually talk, right? Lord Sri Krishna explained that we are all Atma, and we are neither dying, we are not neither not living or taking birth, right? So we forgot the fact, and every time whenever who's dying, who's just on a deathbed in our near and dear friends, we still cry, we still feel emotional. So what does it mean here? The thing is, we are forgetting what Lord Krishna explained us like many years ago, but we are still worshipping his idol in every city that we know of, right? What is this? We are not following what he is talking, but we are still worshipping him. This is not the true worship. We should worship what he is talking. We should live what he wanted us to live. Jesus once said that as you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever you do, you get that back in the same way, in an equivalent portion. uh, do we still remember that? Are we still praying for Jesus? So what exactly are we praying here? We are not really praying the God. uh, we are just blindly following what our ancestors have just told us. So let us all consider the fact that we should practice what they did. We should practice how they evolved into that great spiritual being, how Lord Krishna has evolved himself into that great soul, how Lord Hanuman has become that immortal. How did he achieve immortality? How did Lord Rama lived his life? How did Sita lived her life? How did she actually face the hurdles in her life? We should learn those things rather just worshipping the idols of them in our daily life. So that's really important, my dear friends. So we should practice meditation. Only then you'll understand these facts. If you do practice meditation, then you'll understand the true essence of yourself. So when you understand yourself completely, then you'll consider yourself as God. You will try to practice the things that our higher self asked us to do it in the spiritual realm, in this physical realm. So that's very important, my dear friends. So just try to practice meditation and try to be a witness to yourself. Try to be a watchdog for yourself. Don't ever consider that someone outside of you is watching you, or when you go to the temple, suddenly you will become really good. You consider one day like Friday or maybe Sunday you go to church, you will become too good on that day, and the rest of the days you'll forget everything and you'll do all the nonsense. No, nothing like that. So don't put yourself some barrier, and don't give any barriers. Like God will stay only in temples, and that's where we should be good, and everywhere else you can do whatever you want to do. No, nothing like that. So God is everywhere. He's watching every time. He's watching from inside you. So whenever you are awake, whenever you are doing something, he's watching you from you. So you are the God. So the next thing is overcome personal problems using our own meditational strength. So when you are doing meditation, this is not just theory, right? So when you are doing meditation, you will gain energy. You will gain lot of cosmic energy, and you can use that cosmic energy to heal your personal problems. That can be your physical problems, your mental problems, or any of the issues that you are facing in your life. So this is very important to understand that, not just in a theoretical way, but to understand it in a practical way. So when you are in a deep trouble, just do meditation. Just try to analyze yourself and try to make some chart within yourself, and see what you can do to make yourself better. There are many possible ways that you can see in the meditation. When you go deep down inside you, you'll see lot of solutions that are coming to you in the meditation, and you can use those solutions to fix your problems. You don't need any external help most of the time. And even you can ask help within your meditation, and you can ask help from your higher self, and try to build some confidence within you. You create your own reality. Faith wisdom. We have some books from Jane Roberts who explained about the Faith wisdom, where the first and foremost thing and the last thing that they always speak is, you create your own reality. So whatever the real life that you're enjoying today is because of you. None of them who created your reality. So you are the one who created everything. Every minute of it was created by you. So the solutions too, and the problems too. So if you are creating the problem, then you have enough energy to solve the problem too. Just consider this fact that you need to create solutions out of each and every problem in your life. That is the next strength that you have, you can gain through this meditation, and that's the principle of PSSM. And the next thing, next step in the evolution process is enjoy normal family lives. So yeah, there are many people who consider that when you are into the spirituality, most of the people think that now this guy will go to Himalayas, this guy will never do the normal things, and doing a normal thing is something is prohibited, or something that you should not do, being a spiritual person. No, completely no to all those stuff. Just remove those barriers, so you will be enjoying the normal life. You will be with your wife, your friends, your husband, your father, your parents, your son, your daughter. You'll enjoy all those things in your normal life. So all those things will be there in your life, but at the same time you're not completely attached to it. You're not completely physically having some bond to um, you will maintain a spiritual bond. You'll maintain a soul connection to each and every person you met with or you are with, right? So the spiritual connection is nothing but you will give enormous love to you. At the same time, you'll not put certain boundaries to anyone, or you will not put any expectations, or any restrictions to your fellow friends. We are all friends. We are all friends here. There's no father, there's no mother, there's no son, or there's no daughter. We are all friends. Let's understand this fact in the spirituality. Let's make friendship to each and every one, and lead our life in a lovely way. And now, and the foremost important thing in the process of evolution is, try to build pyramid meditation centers. Any meditation center that will help your friends, whoever coming to those centers, will understand the essence of meditation, and they do meditation. Let us all spread this meditation by building some meditation centers. If you are building a pyramid meditation center, then consider the fact that you're creating an energy center there, not just the meditation center. It's an energy center. So after understanding the essence of meditation, Buddha started teaching the meditation to each and every village. Wherever he go, he will start teaching meditation. He will build a center there. That's what the job of Buddha in the rest of his life after he learned the meditation. So all those meditation masters, all those pyramid masters who are here, who learned what is meditation, they started teaching meditation to wherever they go. We have meditation centers across US and across the globe in many places. So all those masters who understand and learn meditation, they started teaching meditation. Uh, this is the job of Buddha. This is a job of Bodhisattva. They have done lot of um, meditation teachings in their life. So that's what we are doing. And they did not expect any money, or they did not made any business out of it. That's what all the pyramid masters are doing now. They are just spreading the word of meditation that will certainly help this human kingdom to make themselves a better piece of beings. And now, the last and important thing in the part of PSSM is publish your experiences, publish your meditation experiences. Read some spiritual books, understand them, understand how to live life with spirituality, and then practice them in your daily life. So once you are practicing in daily life, you will have some certain specific experiences that are unique to you. So try to write all those experiences, whatever you have gone through in the meditation or in your real life. Try to publish them as a book. Try to publish them as a video to your near and dear ones, so that these videos, these books will help uh, your friend circle or your family circle learn what is meditation. And they will certainly get attracted seeing you and your transformation. So if you speak out about meditation, most of the people, they don't get into the meditation. But if you see the transformation in you, if these experiences, if you write them in one book, then if you publish them, the people who's on the receiving end, they might connect. We never know, like, who will connect to us and who will connect to our meditation experiences. They certainly change their life by just reading your experiences. This is very important. Like there are many thousands of masters here who just learn from reading those books that are written by our spiritual meditation masters, by our pyramid masters. So there are many things like this is completely a continuous give and take process. Like we completely continuously exchange our experiences, and sharing our experiences in the books. Um, if you're talking, right, only you and me know what are the experiences that we are having. But if you're publishing the book, we never know where this book is going to reach to. And we have infinity uh, uh, reach to those books. So just try to understand this, and try to uh, teach. Even I consider Ramayana is the best one here. So we just read the book from the Valmiki, or from the Untold Story of Sita book, and now we are still enjoying the fruits and the essence of the Ramayana and Sita. We are still enjoying the life what they led in those times. That's the power of book. That's the power of publishing our experiences. Even after 100 years or 1,000 years, if you write a book, that book will stay, and that book will help someone in the future. It can be anyone, right? So with those 18 principles, I'm going to wrap up the session 2. with 18 guiding principles. So in short, we have 6 principles on what to do, and 6 principles on what not to do, and 6 principles to evolve ourselves into the next level of our life, the spiritual life. So yeah, mm, so if you have, I think that's all. Thank you so much for watching from the YouTube channel, or maybe in the Zoom, or anywhere else. Like maybe after the completing of session, someone who is watching this in the YouTube channel in the future, I thank them too, um, for watching this.